Look at yourself. You can't focus for 5 minutes. Things that used to excite you feel completely dead. Games, food, music, nothing lands anymore. Your brain isn't broken by accident. You broke it. And in the next 48 hours, you're going to fix it. You wake up and the first thing you do is reach for your phone. Not because you want to. Because silence feels unbearable. You open YouTube, TikTok, whatever, watch for an hour, feel nothing, then feel worse. You try to read. 10 seconds. You try to work. 5 minutes. You try to just sit quietly, and your body physically rejects it. That's not laziness. That's not a personality flaw. Your dopamine baseline has been so artificially inflated by high-stimulation content that normal life cannot compete anymore. Real life feels like background noise. Here's what nobody tells you. Neuroscience has a name for this state: anhedonia, caused by dopaminergic blunting. Elevated stimulation lowers receptor sensitivity. That's not motivation advice, that's biology. And biology has a reset switch. What I'm about to give you isn't a 30-day plan. It's a 48-hour neurological intervention, phase by phase. 6 phases. Specific timing. I'll tell you exactly what's happening in your brain at each stage. Execute all 6 or don't bother starting. 1. The hard cut. Hour 0. You cannot lower your dopamine baseline while still feeding it. Every single scroll resets the clock to 0. Dopamine receptor recalibration only begins when the stimulus is completely removed, not reduced, not limited. Gone. Phone goes in a drawer, not silent mode, not airplane mode, a drawer. No streaming, no gaming, no YouTube. Your brain doesn't care if the content is educational. It only responds to stimulation format. And write 1 sentence on paper. 48 hours starts now. Physical commitment anchors the decision. If you keep just checking, you're not detoxing, you're microdosing. You don't negotiate with addiction, you cut it. 2. Survive the withdrawal. Hours 1 through 6. This is when most people fail. When high stimulation input is removed, dopamine briefly drops below baseline. Neuroscientists call this the dopamine trough. It feels like restlessness, anxiety, boredom so intense it's almost physical. That is not a sign to stop. That is the mechanism activating. Go for a 45-minute walk outside, no headphones, no podcast. Movement without entertainment. Drink water. Eat real food. If the urge to grab your phone feels physical, it is. Don't fight it. Redirect it. Say out loud, my brain is recalibrating. Quit during the trough and you get all the pain with none of the reset. The discomfort you feel right now is the reset happening. Don't run from it. 3. Reintroduce low stimulation input. Hours 6 through 16. Complete deprivation isn't the goal. Recalibration is. Your brain needs to relearn how to generate reward from natural, low-intensity input. Neuroplasticity research shows that low-stimulation environments trigger upregulation of D2 receptors. Your brain literally builds more reward receptors to compensate for reduced input. That's the biological mechanism behind why simple things start feeling good again. Read a physical book. Cook a meal from scratch. Sit outside for 20 minutes and do nothing, not meditation, just existing without a task. Skip this phase and go straight to sleep. You lose the active recalibration window. Most people want to feel better. You're here to rebuild the hardware that makes feeling better possible. 4. The sleep protocol. Hour 16. Sleep during a reset isn't rest, it's the primary manufacturing window for dopamine precursors. During slow-wave sleep, your brain clears adenosine buildup and synthesizes dopamine through the mesolimbic pathway. 1 night of poor sleep measurably reduces dopamine receptor availability the next day. Room dark, room cold, 65 to 68 degrees. Non-negotiable. No screen for 90 minutes before sleep. No alcohol, it fragments REM and blocks the neurochemical synthesis you need. Sacrifice sleep quality here and you wake up on day 2 with lower dopamine than day 1. You've reset nothing. While you sleep, your brain rebuilds. Give it the conditions to do its job. 5. The reactivation window. Hours 24 through 36. This is where the reset either becomes permanent or collapses. By hour 24, D2 receptor upregulation is in progress. Natural stimuli, exercise, real human connection, creative output begin triggering dopamine response again. The window is open. What you feed it now becomes your new baseline. Do 40 minutes of intense physical exercise. This triggers BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which accelerates synaptic repair. Have 1 real in-person conversation. No agenda, no phones. The social reward circuit is one of the oldest dopamine pathways in your brain. Reactivate it. Create something with your hands. Write, draw, build something. Creation triggers reward differently than consumption. It builds rather than drains. Return to screens during this window and you re-establish the old pathway before the new one solidifies. Right now, your brain is choosing which version of you to wire itself around. Choose deliberately. 6. The re-entry protocol. Hour 48. The reset means nothing if you walk straight back into the same environment that broke your brain. Habit loop research shows that environmental cues alone can reinstate addictive behavioral patterns independent of conscious intention. Your phone, your apps, your browser, they are triggers. Change the environment, change the behavior. Delete the 3 apps you use most mindlessly. Not all apps, just 3. Surgical removal. Set 1 rule: phone never enters the bedroom again. And write down 2 things that felt slightly better in the last 48 hours. Anchor the proof. Re-enter without new rules and you haven't reset anything. You've taken a 48-hour break. The brain returns to whatever environment you return it to. The reset gives you a clean slate. What you write on it next is the only thing that matters. And here's what nobody mentions about this process. The first 12 hours feel like punishment. That feeling is confirmation it's working. Most people quit exactly when the mechanism activates. You won't, because now you know what's actually happening. These 6 phases aren't a detox challenge. They're a demonstration to yourself that you are not your urges, that you can override a neurological pull with deliberate action. Every man who has built something real learned to do exactly this act in opposition to his lowest impulse consistently until the lowest impulse lost its power. This is where that starts. Not in 30 days, in 48 hours. If you're starting this protocol today, comment 48 hours right now, not to tell me, to tell yourself. And if you want the system that comes after the reset, the one that rebuilds discipline from the ground up, subscribe. This channel is where that work gets done.